Hey everyone, hope you're doing well today. In this video, let's go ahead and practice simplifying algebraic expressions with integers. All right, so for this first section, let's go ahead and check it out. For number 1, remember there's a 1 here, so 7 plus 1 is going to be 8, and 8 plus 3, that's going to be 11, so this all simplifies down to 11x. Okay. For number 2, we do have a 2y plus a 6y, that's 8y plus 1 more y, and that's going to be 9y. Okay, for number 3, we have 4, but we're adding a negative 2. Remember, that's the same thing as 4 minus 2. And so 4 minus 2 is 2, so our final expression will be 2x. Okay, for this next one, we have 2y, but we're taking away 9. So 2 minus 9 is going to be negative 7. So our coefficient is going to be negative 7y for our simplified expression. Number 5, we have negative 3. We're going to add on 8 and then 4. Now, I'm going to choose to add the positive ones together to get 12. So I know that's going to be 12x. And then I just like taking away that 3, that minus 3 in the beginning. So 12 minus 3 is going to be positive 9. You can go left to right as well, but I like to add the positives first and then the negative second, and then simplify from there. For number 6, we do have a negative 1 as a coefficient, so don't forget that. We have a positive 8 and a positive 2. I'm going to add the positive ones together again. 8 plus 2, that would be 10y. And then take away the 1y in the front because it's minus, and that's going to be positive 9y. For number 7, we have a few negative ones. So we have negative 1. I'm going to combine that with negative 2 to make negative 3x. I'm going to combine that with a negative 5x. So altogether, that's going to be negative 8x if I add all the negative ones together. But I still have to add on this positive 4. So negative 8 plus 4 is going to be negative 4. So negative 4x would be the most simplified expression. For number 8, I'm going to add the positive ones together here. So 2y plus 8y, that's going to be a total of 10y here. And then we have a negative 7 and a negative 4. If we combine those, that's going to be a negative 11y or minus 11y. So 10 minus 11, that's just going to be negative 1. So instead of writing negative 1y, make sure we go one more step and drop the 1 by the identity property and just write negative y. For number 9, I'm going to add all the negative ones together. So negative 4, remember there's a negative 1 here, so that makes negative 5. Negative 4 plus negative 1 is negative 5. Then negative 5 combined with a negative 10 would make negative 15x. Okay, so that's all the negative ones combined, and I'm going to add the positive 1 there. So negative 15 plus 5, that's going to be negative 10. That'll be the most simplified expression there. For number 10, don't forget there is a minus 1 here and a minus 1 here. If we add all the negatives together, or I'll do the positives first. So 2y plus 7y, that's going to be a total of 9y if I add all the positive ones together. Then negative 6 with a negative 1 makes negative 7, and another negative 1 makes negative 8. So all the negatives together make negative 8y. And so 9y, take away 8y, 9 minus 8 is 1, so it's going to be 1y. But that simplifies down to just y, because you don't need to write the 1 by the identity property. All right, check out this next section where we have multiple terms, not just one type of term. So make sure we're careful with what we're simplifying together. So I'm going to start off with the x's. Always start off with the variables if you can. So 3 minus 7, that's going to be negative 4. So write negative 4x here. And then if we add this positive 5 and then take away 9, so 5 minus 9 is going to be negative 4. So I could write plus negative 4, or you can just write minus 4. Same thing. For number 12, let's see what's going on here. We have 1x, so 1x plus 4 more x's is going to be a total of 5x's. And then we have a negative 3 combined with a negative 8. That's going to be negative 11, so we're going to write minus 11. For number 13, we have negative 3y, take away 7y, so that is going to be negative 10y in total. And then we have a negative 4 added onto a positive 5. That's going to be a positive 1, so we're going to write a plus 1. For number 14, looks like we have a negative 1y here, and looks like nothing else is going to combine with it, so I'm just going to write negative y. I'm not even going to write the 1 in front of it, don't need to. And then we have a bunch of constants here, so 4 plus 5, that's going to be a 9, and 9 take away 9 is going to be 0, so we don't have to write that in the answer either. Okay. By the identity property of addition, we don't need to write it. But for number 15 here, we have negative 8x plus 8x, so those are opposites. Those combine to make 0, so those add up to make nothing. And I think we're just left with negative 5 then, right? So just going to be left with a constant. There's no variable terms. For number 16, negative 3 and a negative 8 combine to make negative 11. So we can write negative 11x. Okay. And then if we take this 14 and take away 15, 14 minus 15 is going to be a negative 1. So we're just going to write minus 1. For number 17, let's use the x's before the y's because we go alphabetical. Negative 4 plus 8, the same thing as 8 minus 4, and that's going to be 4x. And then if we combine these y values, so the y terms of 2y, take away 1y, so 2 minus 1 is just 1, so it's going to be plus 1y or just y. Okay. For number 18, we'll do the x's first. We have negative 1 and we have negative 5, so those combine to make negative 6x. And then for the y's, we have negative 1y combined with this negative 3y, so negative 1 and negative 3 make negative 4, so we should have minus 4y. For number 19, we'll go with the x's first. We have negative 5x combined with a negative 7x. That'll make negative 12x. And then for the y's, check this out. We have negative 8y and plus 8y. So those are going to cancel each other out since they are opposites. So negative 8 plus 8 is 0. And so we won't have any y's in our simplified expression. For number 20, we'll go with the y's first. So 3y. Take away 1y. That's only 2y now. And 2y plus 5y is going to be a total of 7y. And then we have this minus 4 at the end, so we're going to write minus 4. So there you have 10 different practice problems where you have to combine like terms, but not everything can be combined. So keep the x's with the x's, the y's with the y's, and then the constants with the constants. On to the next section here. We're going to practice using the distributive property a little bit. So all we really have to do here is go ahead and multiply. There are 4 of these 2x's, so 4 times 2x makes 8 of these x's. And then if we go ahead and multiply and say there are 4 of these 5y's, that is going to make a total of these 20 of these y's. Okay. For 22, if 3 is at the end, just go 3 to the beginning. So 3 times 5x. If you have 3 of those, that's going to be 15x. And then if we're going to take away 7 3 times, we're going to take away a total of 21. For 23, we have 2 of these 7x's, so we're going to write 14 total x's. And then if we have 2 of these take away 5s, we're going to take away 10 in total. For 24, we have 5 of these negative 2y's. So if you have 5 of those, that should be that negative 10y in total. And then if we have 5 of these take away 4s, that's going to be taking away 20 in total. For 25, we have negative 2 of these things, so that's going to be negative 6x. Okay, as long as there's one negative, we're going to have the opposite. And then over here, if this is negative 2 of these negative 5, so a negative times a negative is a positive, so that's going to actually be plus 10. Let me move down a little bit to give me some more room. For number 26, is negative 2 times this 3y is going to be negative 6y. Let me put that negative in front. And then this negative 2 times this negative 8 is going to be a positive 16. Move on up a little bit. Moving on to 27, if you have a negative times a negative here, that's going to be a positive 8x. And then if you have this negative 4 times a negative 5, that's going to end up being a positive 20. Remember, negative times a negative is a positive. On to 28, we're taking half of this negative 4x, so half of negative 4x should be negative 2x. And then if we go ahead and take half of taking away 10, well, half of taking away 10 is just taking away 5. On to 29, we have to take 3/4 of 12. So think to yourself, what is 1/4 of 12? 1/4 of 12 is 3. So 3 times 3 is going to be 9. So that's going to be 9y. If it's helpful, you can go ahead and write it out like this. And you can cross cancel, right? You could cross cancel the 4 and the 12, make it 1 and 3. Then 3 times 3 is 9. That'll work as well. And then you take 3/4 of 36. Well, 1/4 of 36 is 9. Then 9 times 3 is 27. So this would be plus 27. But again, if you wanted to see that, that's 3/4 of 36. You're going to see the 1/4 gets you the 9, and then 9 times 3 is 27. Okay. Moving on to the last one in this section, if we're going to go ahead and multiply here for negative 3/2, well, 1/2 of 14 is 7, and 3 of those is going to be 21. So I'm thinking negative 21x. If you want to see that, I'm not writing the sign here, but negative times a positive is a negative. And then this 2 and 14 cross cancels to make 1 and 7, and 3 times 7 does get you that 21. Then over here, half of 8 is 4, and 3 of those 4s makes 12. So we should have a plus 12 just because it's a negative times a negative. And so if you do 3 over 2 times 8 over 1, just to confirm that, you can cross cancel, make that 1, that 4. 3 times 4 is 12, so that works out. Moving on to the next section here, we're going to go ahead and try using our knowledge of GCFs to go ahead and try to factor these into having the GCF as a factor. So what we're going to do here is take 6x plus 9. We're going to go ahead and factor out the GCF. The GCF here I think is 3. We're going to be left with 2x and then plus 3. Give these a hug along the outside. So this is equivalent to 3 times the quantity of this 2x plus 3. For this 14y plus 21, I'm thinking we have a common factor of 7 here, so I'll put a 7 on the outside. 7 times 2y is 14y, and then 7 times a positive 3 gets you 21. Give these relatively prime terms a hug, and we have 7 times the quantity of 2y plus 3. Okay. Again, feel free, if you wanted to check these, you can totally distribute and go the other way, the opposite way, to see if we get what we started with, and you'll see that it does work out. On 33, let's see what we got here. We have 15x minus 20y. Let's see what they have in common. I think they both have a 5 in common, right? So if 5 times this 3x will get you 15x, and then 5 times a negative 4y, give this a hug. This will be 5 times the quantity of 3x minus 4y. Finally, for 34 on this page, we have 24y minus 18. And I think 2 is a common factor, right? But I think 3 is also. And if 2 and 3 work, then 6 must work. So 6 times 4y is 24y. Take away 3. And so what we have here is 6 times the quantity of 4y minus 3. Again, if you check 33 and you go ahead and multiply, that does get 15x. That is minus 20y. This is positive 24y and then minus 18. So if you want to check these, feel free to do so just to make sure you're on the right track. Let's try a few more of these. We have 27x minus 36y. Let's see what they have in common. They both have, I think, 9, right? 9 times 3x gets you 27x, and then 9 times a negative 4y gets you negative 36y. Give those a hug, and that will be 9 times the quantity of 3x minus 4y. For number 36, what we're going to want to do here is keep in mind that there are minuses, and we want our what's in parentheses to kind of start with a minus sign if we can help it. So if we're going to do this, don't just factor out the GCF of 8, actually factor out negative 8. And you'll see what happens here. The factors stay the same, it's just the sign of the terms changes a little bit. And so negative 8 times a positive 2y gets you negative 16y, and a negative 8 times a positive 3 gets you the negative 24. Okay, so if I write this, it's going to be negative 8 times 2y plus 3. And if you go ahead and distribute that negative 8, you'll see that this will be negative 16 and a negative 24. So it does work out. So the goal here is just trying to make that 2y a positive 2y. Again, it's not the most important thing in the world right now, but as you get into some different types of math problems in higher level math classes, you definitely want to try to take out a negative if you can. Okay. For number 37, let's take negative 15x and add 20. Looks like this negative 15x is negative, just like the last one. So I'm going to factor out not just a 5, but a negative 5. And we'll be left with 3x and then minus 4. Let's see if that works out for us. So negative 5 times the quantity of 3x minus 4. This does get you negative 15x, and a negative times a negative does get you a positive 20. So that works out. For 38, let's see, we have 8x minus 12y. And what do they have in common? I think they both have a 4, right? 4 times 2x gets you 8x, and 4 times negative 3y gets you negative 12y. So this will be 4 times the quantity of 2x minus 3y. Let's do a couple more here. So we have 9y plus 15. I think we can say a 3 goes in common with both 3 times 3y, and 3 times a 5 gets you 15. Give these a hug. So that's going to be 3 times the quantity of 3y plus 5. And then finally, we have one more in this section. So negative 22x minus 55. Again, we have a negative leading coefficient here. So I'm thinking let's take out not just 11, but negative 11. And we'll be left with a positive 2x plus 5. Let's see how this works out. that we took out a negative. So we have a positive 2x plus 5. And if we check these last couple, this will be negative 22x, which is what we started with. And this will be negative 55 because a negative 11 times a positive 5. This does get you 9 and 15. This does get you 8 and negative 12. So these all seem to work out for us. For these ones, make sure we always distribute first and then add and subtract like terms afterwards, just because multiplication is distribution and that's more important than addition or subtraction. So 8x is going to be first, and then plus 12, and then plus 5x plus 2. And then if we combine our like terms now of 8x and 5x, that's going to make 13x. And if we combine this constant of 12 and 2, that's going to make 14. So there's our most simplified expression for 41. For 42, let's distribute 6 times 1x and then 6 times this 4. 6 times 1x is just going to be 6x. 6 times 4 is going to be 24. 2x is just going to stay here the same, and we have a plus 1. This 6x and 2x combine to make 8x in total. And if we go ahead and combine this 24 and 1, that'll make 25. And don't combine those. Those are not like terms, so we are done there. Okay. For 43, let's go ahead and combine like terms after we distribute. So let's go ahead and take this 3x plus 5, leave it alone. Then 4 of those 2x's makes 8x, and then 4 of these 6's makes 24. If we combine some like terms here, so 3x and 8 more x's will get us a total of 11 of these x's. And then 5 plus 24 of these constants get us 29. So all in all, we're going to have 11x plus 29 is our most simplified expression. For 44, let's go ahead and distribute this 3 to both of these over here. If we have that, we're going to have x and then plus 3 plus x plus 6x plus 21. We have 3 of those 2's make 6, and 3 of those 7's makes 21. Then if we combine 1x plus 1x, that's 2x. 2x plus 6x gets us a total of 8x. And then a constant of 3 plus a constant of 21 gets us a constant of 24. Alrighty, let's try some more, okay? Distribute this 4 to both of these terms on the inside, where I'll have 2x plus 8 plus 4x plus 20. Then if we combine 2x and 4x, that's going to make 6x. And then if we combine this 8 and 20, that's going to make 28. Done. For 46, we're going to distribute this 4/5 to both of these over here. And so what's 1/5 of 25? 1/5 will be 5, and we have 4 of those, so that's going to be 20. So it'll be 20x. And then what's 1/5 of 10? Well, 1/5 of 10 is 2, and 2 times 4 is going to be 8. So it's going to be minus 8, and then plus 4x. Okay. This 20x plus the 4x is going to make a total of 24x. And then this minus 8 doesn't have any like terms with it, so it's just going to stay as a minus 8. Moving on down here to 47. 47 will distribute this 3/8 to this term and to this term right over here. So we're going to have this 6x at the beginning, and we have 3/8 of 16. So we'll just take 1/8 of 16, which is 2. Then 2 times 3 is going to be 6. So that's going to be plus 6x. And then we have 3/8 of 48. So what's 1/8 of 48? 1/8 of 48 is 6, and 6 times 3 is going to be 18. So it's going to be a minus an 18. So 6x plus 6x, that'll get us a total of 12x. And then we have this minus 18. That's not like anything else, so we can go ahead and write our expression as 12x minus 18. For 48, let's go ahead and distribute this 2. We have 2 of these 7's and 2 of these takeaway 5's. So we have negative 4x plus 1 is added on to this 14x take away 10. And so negative 4x plus 14x, that's going to be, I think, 10x, right? And then if we go ahead and take the 1 and take away 10, that's going to be taking away 9. So 1 minus 10 is negative 9. All right, let's check out some more here. Oh, let's go to stop at 49. And let's go ahead and distribute this 3 over to the 2x and 3 to the takeaway 4. So we have negative 5 plus 1x plus 6x take away 12. And we can go ahead and combine. We have 1x plus 6x. That's going to make a total of 7x. And then we have a negative 5 take away 12. that's going to be negative 5, and a negative 12 make negative 17. So we have 7x take away 17. Okay, moving on, if we go ahead and distribute this negative 3 to both of these, be careful with your negatives here. Negative 3 times a positive 3 is a negative 9x, and a negative 3 times a negative 4 is going to be a positive 12, plus 5x minus 2. So negative 9x plus 5x, that's going to be negative 4x. And then we have a 12 take away 2, and that's going to be positive 10. And that would be our final expression. For 51, let's go ahead and distribute this 2 to both of these terms inside here. If we do that, we're going to get 2x minus 10, take away an x, adding 4. And so if we have 2x take away an x, that's going to be 1x. And then we have a negative 10 plus 4, that's going to be negative 6. There's our simplified expression. And here's 52. For 52, let's go ahead and distribute this 2 over here and then a 2 to this one as well. We'll have negative 7x minus 3 plus 8x minus 10. Then we can distribute, or then combining the negative 7x and positive 8x, that's going to be positive 1x. I'm going to drop the 1 though because we don't need to write it by the identity property. And then negative 3 take away 10 could be minus 13. Cool. Just like that, we have x minus 13. Let's move on down. Check out 53. For 53, looks like we got to distribute here this 2 to both of these. If we do that, 2 times negative 3x is going to be negative 6x. And 2 times negative 4 is going to be negative 8. And then we have this negative 5 times 2. That's going to be negative 10x. And then we have a negative 5 times a positive 3, which is going to be negative 15. Okay. Negative 6 and negative 10 combine to make negative 16x. And then this negative 8 and negative 15 combine to make negative 23. For 54, let's go ahead and distribute this negative 3 to both of these terms inside here. Negative 3 times negative 2 is a positive 6x. Then negative 3 times negative 1 is going to be a positive 3. Then this positive 4 distributed to both of these terms inside here. Positive 4 times negative 2 is negative 8x. And then positive 4 times negative 4 is going to be negative 16. This 6x take away 8x is going to be negative 2x. And then this positive 3 minus 16 is going to be negative 13. And so that would be our final expression. Here's 55. For 55, let's go ahead and distribute this half to both of these terms on the inside. Half of 4 is just going to be 2x, and half of take away 2 is just taking away 1, and then plus 5x minus 6. This 2x and this 5x are like terms. They can combine by adding their coefficients to get 7, and negative 1 take away 6 is going to be taking away 7 in total. So this would be our simplified expression. For 56, let's distribute this third. Let's take a third of each of these things. So a third of 6x is just going to be 2x, and a third of taking away 9 is just taking away 3. Then let's take a fourth of this and take a fourth of this. So a fourth of 20, 20 divided by 4 is going to be 5. And then a fourth of 32, well, 32 divided by 4 is going to be 8, so it's going to be taking away 8. And so 2x plus 5x is going to be 7x. And then taking away 3 and taking away 8 is going to be taking away 11. Done. Alrighty, let's go ahead and try 57. So for 57, we're going to go ahead and take 3/4 of this. And we'll go ahead and take 3/4 of this. So 1/4 of 4 is going to be 1. 3 times 1 is 3. So that's going to be negative 3x. Then if you take 3/4 of 12, well, 1/4 of 12 is 3, right? And 3 times 3 is 9. So that's going to be minus 9. And then minus, let's go ahead, this is a negative 3 times 2, right? So that's why I knew it was a minus, it's negative 6x. And then negative 3 times negative 5 is going to be a positive 15. This negative 3x and negative 6x make a total of negative 9x. And then this negative 9 combined with a positive 15 is going to be a positive 6. So there's our expression. For 58, we've got some more fractions to deal with here. So we have got to take a 7th of this and a 7th of this. 14 divided by 7 is going to be 2, so we have 2x. And then 21 divided by 7 is 3, so minus 3. And then we're going to take a fourth of this and a fourth of this. So divide them both by 4. 12 divided by 4 is going to be 3, so we have 3x. And then 28 divided by 4 is going to be 7, so we have minus 7. 2x and 3x are going to make 5x when we add those together. And then negative 3 take away 7 is going to be a negative 10. So we have 5x minus 10. Last couple practice problems here for 59 and 60. For 59, let's distribute this 2/5 here and distribute the 2/5 over here. So 45 divided by 5, that's 9. 2 times 9 is 18, so we have 18x. And then 30 divided by 5 is 6, and 2 times 6 is 12, so it's minus 12. And then let's see, if we take this half and distribute to both of these, half of 6 is going to be 3, so minus 3x. And then we have half of 8, which is 4. It's going to be a plus 4 here, though, because it's a negative half times a negative, or it's half of negative 8, right? So a negative is going to be a positive. This 18x and minus 3x will give us 15 total x. And we also will see here that negative 12 plus 4 is going to be negative 8. So we have a total of 15x minus 8 at the end. Finally, it looks like we have some decimals to maybe deal with here. So let's go ahead and distribute this 1.5 to both of these here. Well, 1 times 4 is 4, and half of 4 is 2. And so 4 plus 2, that should be 6x. And 1.5 times 6, so 1 times 6 is 6, and then half of 6 is 3, so 3 plus 6 is 9. So 1.5 times 6 is just negative 9. And then this negative 2.5 times 6, well, 2 times 6 is 12, right? And then half of 6 is 3, so 12 plus 3 is 15, so take away 15x. And then 2.5 times 2, so 2 times 2 is 4, and then half of 2 is 1, so 4 plus 1 is 5. So we'll do minus 5 here. 6x take away 15x, that will be a negative 9x, okay? And then negative 9 take away 5 should be negative 14. So this right here would be the most simplified expression. So there you have 60 different practice problems on dealing with simplifying algebraic expressions with some integers as well as some fractions and rational values. And as always, I hope you found it helpful and keep up the great work. I'll see you in the next one.